Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our webinar from today. We have together with Wavecom, Ricardo Simões and Walter Miguel. They will show us in this webinar many reasons why this topic about airports and about the COVID-19, the measures that are being taken are important, and how a cloud authentication system platform can be useful for this situation that we are currently living. So at this moment, we are implementing in emerging markets a lot of software solutions. This is one of them. And therefore, I will pass the word to Walter Miguel, the sales director from Wavecom, and he will be able also to give a glimpse over what we are doing together. Thank you, Walter.
Okay, thank you, Magda. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope all of you are in good health and safe from the coronavirus. And it is a pleasure to share with you information about the solutions that we developed in Wavecom. Before I start my presentation, I want to thank you for your presence here and for your precious time. We hope that at the end of this webinar, each of you feel that this time has been well spent. That's what we want, okay? I also want to thank you to our partner Sanivo. Thank you, Magda, for the invitation to this webinar and for believing and promoting the solutions developed by Wavecom. Ricardo, can you please proceed to slide 2? Yeah, let me see. Okay, yeah, I have here the, okay, sorry. It's, yeah. Now I'd like to give you a brief introduction of to Wavecom. We are a Portuguese company with 20 years of activity, with offices in Portugal and Spain, and with projects carried out around the world in the 4 continents, except Oceania, okay? We grow as integrators of wireless solutions from several manufacturers. And since 2007, we also bet in the creation of own and differentiating solutions of hardware and software for different sectors like airports, ports, transportation, municipalities, or industry. Okay, Ricardo, yeah. Today, I will talk a little bit about 4 of our solutions that could be used in several scenarios. The first one is CAS, or Cloud Authentication System, that is the main subject of this webinar, and which is a software platform to manage and communicate with the guest users on a Wi-Fi network. Some use cases of this software are airports, municipalities, ports, ISPs, transportation companies, smart cities, or industry. But then Ricardo will present it in detail, so let's move on. Another product that we developed with a huge success is an embedded router for transportation companies. It is a multi-interface router with Wi-Fi, 4G, GPS, Ethernet ports, LoRaWAN interface that could be installed in a bus, train, or other vehicle to supply communications to the vehicle passengers, providing them real-time network data. Plus the hardware, there is a back office portal with several information like the vehicle route, Wi-Fi and 4G consumption, and quite a lot of user information that are available for the admin solution. The third solution I'd like to share with you are the wireless network for critical or non-critical communication. We already designed, planned, and installed hundreds of wireless networks that can be used as an alternative to optical fiber or as a complement. I'm not sure if you know, but wireless networks can have speeds ranging from hundreds of megabits to some gigabits. Yeah, gigabits. For instance, a real scenario for this kind of networks could be a municipality or an airport where you can deploy, imagine, a wireless network to connect all vehicles on the runway and even planes, security force, firefighters, etc., providing real-time communication between all of them. And finally, talk to you about real-time location and tracking solutions that allow us to have a location or tracking of something that could be an object or people in real time. Some interesting use cases are airports or ports where they want to locate real-time luggages, people, vehicles, etc., and everything in real time, so they can take the decisions in real time, of course. Another use case is Industry 4.0, where these kind of solutions are used to tracking people and objects, improve the process automation, monitoring the routes of AGVs, forklifts, among others. And for today, I think that's all about our solutions. But before I finish my presentation, I want to tell you that Wavecom and our partner Sanivo are available and prepared to help you with any communication challenge you may have. Just talk to us, okay? Now, Ricardo, I will pass the presentation to you so that you can present the cloud authentication system to us and do a demo. Thank you all for your time, and Ricardo, it's up to you now.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Magda, for this invitation. It is a pleasure for me to be here. Let me give you a quick overview of our solutions manager. The idea here is to give you a brief history. So we as an integrator, we came up also with this solutions manufacturer, where we start developing our own products. Like Walter said, we had products related to the hardware stuff, and also the ones that were related to the software. That is one of these cases that is called authentication system, that we call CAS. How we came up with this? We came up with this because we felt during our installation, during our operations, a need where our customers, our partners, have some challenge, some pains, to be more effective with the Wi-Fi user, for instance, and at the same time to have in their hands the easy and user-friendly management. So at that time in 2014, when we start using this our own platform, we start developing with this focus, with this goal to improve the user experience. That is, let's say, our claim. And then we also start developing for different kinds of scenarios, for municipalities, for critical environments, and then we move along these years also to private networks, where we develop, in particular case in airports or even with operators, ISPs, this goal to be more close to the end user, let's say. So with this, I would like to share some of the challenge that we face during these last years first of all, in airport scenarios, where we see a huge number of traveling accessing, that the travelers have different types of purpose of traveling, business, leisure, regular travels, one-time travelers, and the issues of secure that is in nowadays very present, and even more with this pandemic scenario that we live at this moment. So all these challenges that we faced, and on top of this, the data protection regulation that came up in the last 2-3 years, we saw that it was possible to improve, in one hand, this user experience, and in the other hand, give to the manager, to the back office side, a full hand of data that would improve the decisions and make it fast. So these were the main challenge, and as we along these years we saw that we could have different kinds of approach in technological benefits or technological features. We could be very proactive, very close to our users, tailoring our captive portals. For instance, in this particular scenario that we are living, we also developed some portals to advertise, in order to the people be aware what is going on, which measurements that the provider is taking to pass the information and to be more secure to them. So with this tailored captive portal with multiple for different scenarios, for different areas, if we are talking about airports, I might say that we have different areas: lounge area, custom area, control area, rest area, and so on. So with this, we came up with different kinds of portals with different kinds of information, very tailored, very close to what is needed at that moment. This gives deep visibility of this data that is taken. In one hand, in the other hand, it is possible to take the measurements and to take to solve the issues of secure, because it's possible to authenticate and to blacklist the users if it is needed. Well, we talk here for the control of Wi-Fi access, but could be also in the network, could be also in the cable. So it is quite easy to be to spread all this control all over the infrastructure that is already set. Other thing that is important to say that is this control could be set in different kinds of scenarios, not only for bandwidth, but time limits and traffic. So it will be very interesting for different approach to set and to control all these things. Other thing that is also important and to be close to communicate and to be close to the user is the fact that not only the portal that is tailored, but also the landing page where we can have the timetables for the next flights, where we can have the best procedures in that area to take, and so on. So this is quite, let's say, tailored, quite tuned, where all the needs could be fit. So in this, at the end, in this umbrella side, we would have this GDPR directives, these global directives of data protection that is also an important topic in nowadays, and even more with this pandemic situation that we live, where all this data is strict with this in mind. This was in the technological perspective. In the business perspective, it's also important to give to the manager a real-time survey feedback. If you are asking some questions in these captive portals, it's important to have this feedback in real time, to adapt, to easily to see what is going on in a certain area and what we can take to improve. This is one stronger point. Other thing, it's also important to do some profiling. When we mean with some profiling is to have some reports, some analytics, anonymous of course, where we can have several information regarding what we collect from each device that is connected. Other thing that is engage all the passengers to be enrolled with not only with the captive portal but also with through email, through SMS, so be close to them. This is also a way to monetize the captive portals, because all the brands that are inside of an airport, in duty free, for instance, could be advertising their own content, and the owner of the infrastructure could be monetizing this. And at the end is an important factor that is possible to be integrated with loyal programs like milestones, programs that is easy to connect and use the same user, and this gives an entire perspective of only one way of authentication. So this is a view that we'd like to share regarding what we see the airports environment, but also because we see that is quite let's say the same challenge that we faced on ISP areas, because sometimes the ISPs are the ones that are in charge, responsible with the infrastructure that is inside of the airport. So we see that in some cases we have the same, as you see here in this slide, but also it's important to say that on top of this, we also have different locations with different requirements. That is a tricky point, because in some places we have, or in some locations, we have several requirements that don't fit in the other locations. And I mean, when we are talking about different kinds of airports that are completely managed with the same entity, so one will have one kind of requirements and the other will have others. So fit all this in the same platform is one thing that in this authentication platform is possible. Being a multi-tenant platform, we will have all this in one hand. And the benefits on this side is most what we already had said. I only say that to identify these two first points. That is the fact to manage and restrict the network as an entire network, not only in one place, but as an country-wise or region infrastructure to secure through this authentication. And when we mean with the user authentication, could be by each device, by a user a login and a password, and so on, the different kinds of authentication, but also to in a way to protect and identify the business. I mean, when every user is using the network and is doing the authentication, they have to be aware what kind of network they are accessing, taking access. So with this, with terms and conditions, it's possible to have all the disclaimer notifications, all the disclaimer notes, in order to every user be aware what would be the secure procedures that are taken. Also, the monetization of this network, because it is possible to share all the portals, all the captive portals with partners and third-party customers. With this, it will be possible to build a marketing engine to improve not only the user experience, but also to give some data to the manager, to the management, let's say, what is really going on their infrastructure. Of course, at the end, all the global secure standards had to be taken with this, in order to restrict the restrict and secure the data that is important. So this is an overview. What is our system, our cloud authentication system? I would now like to share with you our little demo. This is our system cache, where it is, like I said before, is a multi-tenant platform where we can have different kinds of organizations in tree construction. I mean, it's possible to select different areas, different roles, different applications, and have different access to it. And with this, let me start here. I will share here 4 important points of our system, mainly the dashboards, that we start with an overview of the system. We can have different, this is a demo that I have here, where we can see the information from download, from upload, number of sessions from today, from this month. I can customize it. I can have a heat map if I have different locations. In this particular case, I only have 1 location, so here is only to set 1 place. So in order to see where the people are connecting, where the people are moving, so we can have this diagram along the day, along the week. We can customize it. This gives you an entire idea. On the other hand, we can check some information from the device, some fingerprint information from device, which type of device we have, which language of the devices. This is important in order to tailor, to tune the captive portal that we want to present. And all this dashboard that I present here could be customized in order to, every owner, let's say, can customize the data, and also can share with others what is the information that they are having. For instance, here I will not take long. We have several questions in our captive portal, for instance, and then I can have this data and to see what was the feedback, the survey's feedback from the users. This, as I said, is completely adaptable, is completely changed, and if in certain time I want to delete, I can also delete and create a new one. It's completely customized. Other point that is important to say, and now related to these tailored portals, is this portal layout. As I mentioned in the presentation, we have in certain cases these portals where that provide the first communication with the infrastructure, with our customers, with our users, let's say. And with this, we can have some previews where we can add questions and delete the ones that are not important. And with this, we will have an entire view what is the look and feel of our user, the look and feel of the portal that the user are experiencing. All these portals are completely configurable, tailored. All these questions will be mapped in the database, and we will fill up the dashboard that you saw before, and this will give you an idea which kind of integrations is possible to take. So this is one idea. If I put it like this, you will see what is the look and feel in the smartphone or in the laptop. But at the end, it's possible to change not only the image, the type of message, even the style sheet of the communication, the style sheet of the words that here we have, and even it's possible to add social networks login, or even auto-detect, language auto-detect from the portal. So if I have in English, or I have in French, or I have in other language, it will be possible to adapt to have my portal in my language. This is one thing. And the other thing that is now is related to the monitoring side, the activity monitoring. The activity monitoring will give me the counting in one hand, but it will give me also the overview of each answer that was set in our portal. So I would say that here I will have my history, and I could have all this info extracting to CSV or other kind of info, and with this I can manage and be close to change every information that I have. Also important is the fact that I can take information through which devices are connecting to my network, in order not only to see for marketing purpose, but also to manage and to be more close to some problems that could appear in the infrastructure. Besides this, I would say that being a tree domain construction, here we can have multiple groups with multiple portals, with multiple requirements, like I said before, and with this it will be perfect to tailor which information would be set in each group. Saying that, mostly this is what we have from our system. I will get back to Magda, and thank you.
Ricardo, thank you so much. It was an amazing explanation. I truly believe that everybody involved here in this webinar could see the benefits of having this cloud authentication in the airports, in the municipalities, as well as we can deploy it there, hotels as well, transportations too. So I leave the next 10 minutes for questions. So please feel free, don't be shy. We want everybody to interact and to make some questions here. We have also our poll going on. Also in LinkedIn, we have our poll going on. So feel free to make questions here in the chat, or to one of our hosts, Walter or Ricardo. I would also invite our partners, Edgar and Geza, to place some questions that you might have related to the territories that you are involved. Amarina as well. And August as well, as one of our partners.
Hello, Magda.
Hello, very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Ade Ajayi from Cropman.
How are you, Ade?
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, team. Everybody, sincere appreciation. We are happy to have us. Thank you for having us. Okay. Listening to the conversation so far, I want to know specifically if your solutions are tailor-made to suit a particular region or organization, so that like for instance, Nigeria, where we are trying, but you cannot really compare what is going on there in the world with what we have in our own aviation sector. So as we grow along the line gradually. So are there specific solution for this market that we will say is growing, why we want to be at least best international standard? Right now, what we have, if we start engaging, do we have tailor-made to suit a specific demand for our own sector here?
Thank you, Ad. Walter or Ricardo? Can you please respond?
I'm not sure if I understood quite well the question. It is related with organizations, how we see it, how we build inside of the organization, is something like this. I'm sorry, I could not understand well.
Yes, it's something like that to suit a specific purpose.
Okay.
Yes, you know, for instance, we have mixtures of airlines, we have the monitoring body, and so is it going to be tailor-made through the monitoring body, or specifically individual airlines want to have something to suit their own space and them customers?
Yeah, understood. Yeah, this could be two types of approach. In one hand, it is possible to the owner of the infrastructure to set all these setting all this software and the hardware, and with this can share or can give to the airlines to advertise their own info. But the idea here is not to focus only in the let's say the airport itself. The idea here is, in one hand, you can advertise, you can communicate directly as a owner of the airport or the owner of the infrastructure of to advertise your own content. However, it's possible to share, to give to the third party the possibility to advertise in your infrastructure and maintain all the secure level on top of this.
Thank you.
Ad, is that clear?
It's clear.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Ricardo, we also have here in the chat a question about IoT. We have Dario Vaz with us. He's based in Mozambique.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Yes. Well, the platform, as I believe Dario saw, when we choose cash, there was IoT set apart. So the same platform could be managing not only the users in one hand, but could be managing the let's say the device, IoT device in the other hand. However, here we will be talking about different kinds of technologies. In one hand, in the user Wi-Fi mainly, and in the other hand, in IoT mainly LoRa, Zigbee, Sigfox, and so on. The requirement will be different for each one, but it is possible to aggregate this in the same platform. It is.
Sorry, how many users how many groups of users you can set up? Because we talk about this, but maybe you change something about this.
I mean, in terms of groups, we
Yes.
don't have limits. The limit will be the server that we set up, because the groups is not the issue. The issue is the number of users that are accessing at the same time to the authentication side. So this will be, the limit will be the hardware that is set. Okay. So in the software side, we simulate with thousands and thousands of clients, and there is no issue on top of this. The issue is related to the hardware side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
I think Dario could send info to the customer as a service. I don't know if I understand well your question, Dario, but in the IoT purpose, you will have, let's say, also two perspectives. The perspective of back office. So you can manage all these devices that are connected in one hand, but in the other hand, you can send these reports to the user, not the end user that is using cache, the Wi-Fi, but the user that is using the user that has its own software or its own hardware IoT devices.
Can I just maybe explain a little bit? Imagine,
Yeah.
for example, as an airport, you want to give a service to all the airliners that are using your airport, you know, and the pilots need information like pressure, wind, all of these informations. I know they probably get it from other sources, but this could be a service, you know, as they come to the airport. Pop-up just comes into the phone or whatever, the email or something, saying, you know, today this is the wind expectancy, this is this is the temperature, this is this is this. It's just a service, you know. Even
it is possible. It is possible to do like this, and to add this on the surveys. Let's say the reports of the surveys. It is possible.
Okay. Yeah. So this is good. Thank you.
It's not related only to cache that we are talking about. We are talking about in a higher layer. I mean, not we are collecting the information from the user, but on the other hand, we are collecting the information from the device that are, let's say, managers that are taking care. But then we have this umbrella that is collecting all this. Okay.
Yeah, Dario, let me add some information. The data could be collected from several sources, as you referred, and the cache or the cloud authentication system could show it to the end user, to the Wi-Fi end user. So this is possible, okay? But we have to look how we will collect the data and in which equipments we will have that data available to share via an API or web service or other stuff to cache. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not sure if we answer to your doubts or to your question. If not, feel free to ask more. Don't worry.
Okay. Also, regarding the end user, can you give information, for example, as an airport, you said, I buy this product and then I want to go to a company and like an airliner, and I want to sell this as a service to them. Okay. Yeah. But to sell this as a service, I have to give them information, like you said. Is there a report of how many people actually connect to the network, and is this possible to use as a selling tool for these companies to actually push the new users to join this network?
Yeah, it is possible. You can have on the captive portal, you can have information direct through this airline company. And then you collect the survey that is there set. And with this, it will be, you can monetize this information directly with the company, with the airline company, because the information it's yours, okay? And with this, it is possible to get several different kinds of surveys and even advertisements. Communication. Okay, it's quite interesting. We have done this quite well and often in metropolitan metro areas where each line has their own, let's say, brand, and then they are pushing the info for each brand.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Dario, thank you very much for your question. It was very pertinent. We have also a question here in the chat from Edgar Flisberto. He's based in Angola.
Yeah, Well, the captive portal is the front office, let's say, of the solution. It's the way that we intercept all the traffic that is coming. And then we will direct to different landing page. Could be to a different URL, or even the captive portal could be an iframe from a different source that could be filled in on the portal. So it is possible.
Edgar, is your question responded? Well, we have here
Absolutely,
also.
Magda. Thanks.
Lovely.
Thanks for your explanation, Mr. Ricardo.
Thank you.
Great to hear. I'm going to pass the word also to Amarina. She's with us from Mozambique. Thank you, Dario. We see each other next time shortly.
We have
Keep
a
safe.
question from Adrian and he telling us, can this be used to push message to some Wi-Fi users like a pop-up message?
It is possible, but it will be referred to the captive portal. It will be set during the time of the session that we create. If we create a session of 2 hours, for instance, that each device or each user will be in the internet during these 2 hours. After this, it will pop up again the portal. So the only way to do this push is to set different times of session, from 1 minute to unlimited, let's say.
Okay, thank you. Adrian, you can put the questions directly, please.
Mr. Ricardo.
Yes.
Imagine some company that wants to monetize this service. If I sell the service by hour, I can show some publicity from some company from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. The users are logging to the systems and they are seeing, watching those messages that I put on the system. When I want to change to another message, how can I make the end users force them to see this new message?
It's possible to oblige every user to kick. Let's say we kick off every user that is connected to the network, and they will be obliged to authenticate again. And then you will have different information in this captive portal. Is the way.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. We have also Amarina from Mozambique. Hello, Amarina, welcome. Amarina, we cannot hear you. Hello, Marina.
I can't see Marina on the chat.
Marina, maybe you can type on the chat. Okay. If you type to everybody, then Walter and Ricardo can address your question. Okay, Ricardo, we have here a question from Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The range the range of the internet in terms of gigabits, it will we can set different kinds of depending of the infrastructure that is displayed or that is already set. We can set different kinds of configurations for each user. So imagine that you have only 100 megabits available. We can set for at the maximum user bandwidth 520K or 1 megabit. We can set this up, and it's completely dynamic to configure. So it will depend of the infrastructure that is already set, and then we can address accordingly.
Right. It means that we can block some kind of website, some kind of content. Maybe YouTube, we can reproduce video. We only can give access to some type of website.
Yeah, some kind of websites could be denied or could be blacklisted, because it is possible to match with the existing firewalls, for instance. However, some of them, because YouTube is a tricky one, because there are multiple sources, and sometimes if the firewall is not completely configured for that, could be tricky on the guest side, on the CAS side. I mean, is possible to configure, but according what is already set from the firewall side. Okay.
All right.
Ricardo, we have here also a question from Adrian Dima. He asks, can this be used to push messages to some Wi-Fi users like a pop-up message? I'm going to rewrite Adrian's question to everybody.
Okay.
So you can also see.
It is possible when we are talking about the time session of each user. If I want to every hour to pop up with the information that I have in my captive portal, I will limit my session during this hour. If I want 5 in 5 minutes, I will put it 5 in 5 minutes, for instance. So it is possible to do it like this. I will oblige everyone to go back to the captive portal every set time.
Can we schedule these things, or we do it manually?
Can we can this could be set once if you want to set, for instance, 1 day a voucher, 1 day voucher. Is like when we are doing check-in in the hotel, something like this. So we can do a check-in for a stay, like is 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and we can set a dimension that is set 1 day, 2 hours, is dynamically, but it can be also manually set.
All right. All right.
Ricardo, we have also here a Marina about the internet services. We have to deploy definitely a good infrastructure. Indeed, our Wavecom routers, they can use up to 3 internet providers or SIM cards, but this I will also leave to Ricardo to explain better.
Okay, this question from Marina is more related to the hardware. So here is the software that could run on top of this hardware. On the hardware side, we have this mobile platform that can add up to three different providers, and we can aggregate all the traffic for the LAN side. So Cash will be on the LAN side, or will be controlling the LAN side in one hand, and this equipment that is installed in the infrastructure locally in one particular local, he will have these 3 providers access to the internet. So if one fails, we will have two both running. This is, well, this is under, let's say, from under cache.
Yeah, Ricardo, let me say something more. Marina, it depends. First of all, you have or we need to understand if the infrastructure, the internet access depends on you or not. Imagine that it's an infrastructure of a customer, okay? And the customer is responsible to provide the internet access, okay? It's not your or our problem because we only have a software layer that is cache that will work with the internet that exists in the local, okay? In the other end, if the internet access is your responsibility, in that case, okay, you can think in use, for instance, our router that can work with 3 different operators. You can aggregate the internet traffic, or you can do several things like failover. If one fails, you can go through the internet through the other, but depends of who is the owner of the infrastructure, okay? If we are not the owners, we or you are not the owners of the infrastructure, it's not our problem. The customer needs to assure that has a good internet connection, okay? If the responsibility of the infrastructure is from our side, okay, in that case, it's our preoccupation and we need to provide a good internet service. And I think that with a router that can provide 3G or 4G access could be a good way to solve that issue, okay? Because by cabling optical fiber, normally it's the better way to solve it, but in some places it's not easy to have a good internet connection through Wi-Fi or through optical fiber, okay? So in that case, we can use 3G or 4G. I'm not sure if that answer to your doubts or to your question.
Okay, and Marina, you are clarify on this explanation. Did you have the chance, everyone, to fill out the poll? Because we have here a poll and we have also in LinkedIn. It would be nice to have your feedback as well on these type of questions that are most concerning passengers in the airports.
I think Joanna also has here a question, and it is correct. She asks the great way to obtain the fast return of the investment, saving time by obtaining the real and certain data, charging for Wi-Fi sponsorships, and promoting services and products can be exploited as cross-selling on the captive portal. Is that in one hand, it's possible to advertise from third parties info. So you can monetize all this, of course, obtain a fast return on.
Especially now that everybody needs to be connected more and more in the airports, the fact of the airport delivering this service, which is secure, encrypted, and GDPR compliant, it will bring also security to the passengers that are making a sort of connection that is secure to their family, to their friends, or even to navigate on the browser. So these are also some topics that we give a lot of importance at this moment. How is the situation in your countries relating to RGDP? Because we have here people from different countries, and I would like to understand how is this topic going on?
Well, here is Angola, Magda. We given the first we are given the first steps, but this is not a issue that is very common among the companies, because we have no we have not the government has not the structure to audit the companies, to asking them to comply with those legal norms. So we are giving the first steps. We have no structure to 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 speak with this about this issue with very with well. Well, we are giving this the first steps. We have not too much to talk about it in Angola.
It's not yet a priority for the government, you say, Edgar?
Yes, it's not a priority.
Ad and August, I think in Nigeria the situation is totally different, right? So the GDPR is getting more and more relevance, correct?
Also,
Ad and August, are you listening to me?
Yes, you are right, Magda.
Ah, thank you.
Yes. I was waiting for August to answer before.
No worries.
All right. So it's a growing trend, and it's something that is improving day by day, and there's more need for all this opportunity now that because of the pandemic, it's a way forward that everything is completely online now, and people are trying to move it. We're trying to push, and we hope to come back soon for a more presentation for this is going to be tailor-made specific for the authorities and those that are in charge of the airport businesses.
Understood that. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Geza, in Romania and Hungary, how is the situation with the GDPR? They are still pressuring a lot, right? Especially in this type of communications in the airports.
Step by step is coming to be a big issue also in Romania and Hungary. Is water on hand, but on the other hand is too complicated. I think this is too much. This must to be simplified, because I think it's a wrong way. GDPR for the moment in Europe in general.
Ricardo, not sure if we should add anything else. We are just waiting also for the participants to fill out the poll.
Yeah, from my side, I have to thank you, Magda and Joanna, for this invitation. Thank you all for being here, for being present, to spend a little of your time to be with us. It was a pleasure for me, and I believe for Walter too. And we are here to help. That's the word.
Indeed, we have a team of engineers that can give you direct support, that can also reunite with your engineers team as well, to another type of one-to-one calls. And therefore we can, and we are happy to assist in any questions you might have in these topics.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much to all.
Bye.
Please keep safe. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace
Thank
and
you, everyone.
Natasha.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time again.